was the eve of the treaty signing with Niflheim. Less than 12 hours earlier, Princess Rhaena and Prince Noctis had returned to Insomnia and taken the citadel by storm. Between cutting traitors out of the Kingsglaive ranks and attending a reception dinner to play nice with Imperial snakes, things had been rough all day. By the time the evening finally wound down and I was permitted to escort the princess back to the citadel, I hadn't taken one full breath in 2 hours. Not that the citadel was much better.
And now?
Now we wait. The board is set. The next move is Aldecap's.
So we can sleep now?
Yes. In fact, that is an excellent idea. I believe we could all do with the rest. Especially you, Father.
Especially you, my dear.
As you say, Father. I will go to bed if you do.
We have an accord.
But, of course, she was going to break it. Either Regis didn't see it, or he chose to ignore it. She said goodnight to everyone and walked Regis to his rooms. Once they were gone, Noctis rolled out of his armchair and stumbled off to his chambers, waving vaguely for his retinue to follow. They trickled after him, leaving the lounge to me. I could have gone down to my own rooms, but I wasn't going to do much sleeping tonight. I didn't even bother to take off my boots or lower the lights. Rhaena would be back, and like hell if I was going to let her wander off on her own. Sure enough, she reappeared less than an hour later.
I might have guessed you wouldn't be fooled. Very well. Come if you're going to come. We have work to do.
No one is allowed admittance to the royal family's quarters without express permission.
Well then get permission.
The doors opened to the back of a Crownsguard and the front of the Imperial High Commander, livid though he usually was. Behind Ravis was Lunafreya. "Stand down, Sergeant. What's going on?"
My sister's insisting on seeing her betrothed. I consented to escort her here and have encountered your guard dog. Am I to understand this is not permissible?
I apologize for the difficulty, Commander, Lady Lunafreya. She may, of course, see Noctis.
Lunafreya and her brother both stepped forward. Rhaena stopped the latter with a raised hand.
I grant admission only to Lady Lunafreya.
I will not send her up there on her own.
Then you'll not send her at all.
I do not need an escort, Ravis.
Fine. Then I charge you with her safety.
But of course, she will be safe upstairs.
He stared at her for another second before turning abruptly and walking away without another word.
I apologize for my brother, Your Highness, but may I say how lovely it is to see you again. We did not have the opportunity to speak at dinner.
Some other time. Take the elevator up and follow the hall to the right. Noctis's room is the second door. There are 3 guest rooms farther down, past the double doors in the back. Don't disturb Father.
Of course.
Let's go, Cor.
Why would Niflheim consent to sending their princess to us on her whim? I admit the concept of political marriage is beyond me, but tensions are high, and both sides are holding their assets close. Rhaena only glanced at me without answering my question. What had I really been expecting? She hadn't been answering any questions since she returned. It wasn't my place anyway. She led the way to Regis's office, but when the door was closed behind us, against all my expectations, she did answer.
Niflheim did not consent, nor was it a whim, but they did mean to use her as bait. I suspect that in their general's absence, they turned to the commander to smuggle her out of the city. It matters very little, they never intended to do anything with her, save draw our forces away from the city. But I suppose Noctis will be pleased to have her here instead.
Why would the commander bring her to us?
Because he values her safety. And because Niflheim isn't the only one who can wield a double-edged blade.
Marshal, do you copy? We're bringing in civilians from the rebel group we raided tonight.
I copy. Have them locked in. They can rot until the rest of this mess is through.
One of them is claiming to be a Kingsglaive, sir.
Are you expecting a glaive in with the rebels?
Yes, Libitus Ostium. He's not one of the traitors, just a man in an unfortunate position, making stupid decisions.
What do you want done with him?
Have him brought back to the Kingsglaive headquarters. Captain Ulrich will deal with him. Likely he'll wake up when he realizes his new friends have been taking bribes from Niflheim.
His old ones as well. Monica, have the glaive transferred to the custody of his captain.
Affirmative, Marshal.
What next?
We need to rearrange the Crown's Guard and the Kingsglaive for tomorrow. The Imperials intended to strike during the signing ceremony while the Kingsglaive were distracted recovering Luna Freya, and the vast majority of the Crown's Guard were dealing with rebel traitors setting off explosives in the Citadel Square. I can only guess what they will do now that neither of those things have happened and their general has been found out.
So what do you propose?
I want every Crown's Guard that can be spared stationed here in the Citadel, as quietly as possible. The guard outside the Crystal Chamber will need to be bolstered, doubled at least, but if we have more to spare then I would put them there. We will have to run the numbers. The guard in the treaty room will also have to be doubled.
And the glaive?
With the crystal. There are two things Niflheim wants, the crystal and the ring. The latter will do them no good at all, but if they get the crystal, then Insomnia falls.
They would have to kill your father to take the ring.
Yes. Unless he didn't have it.
If he removes that ring, the wall falls.
Yes.
I woke some hours later, the clock on the far wall, when my eyes finally consented to focus through the dark, read just past 3 in the morning. Raina was gone. Her room was untouched, her bed unslept in, and her phone was sitting face down on the nightstand. It was difficult to believe she hadn't left it on purpose. Short of calling the Crown's Guard on my own daughter, I could do little save wait for her return. The wait was not as long as I had feared.
Father, you were meant to be sleeping.
As were you.
I don't really sleep anymore.
You have only been gone for 2 days.
The last time I saw you alive was 10 years ago.
10 years?
I know you're afraid, Father. If it helps to be angry with me, then that's all right. I can't explain a 10-year dream in the time we have. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But I swear, when this is all over, if we make it through, I will try anyway.
At least refrain from lying to me.
You wouldn't have stayed if you knew I wasn't going to. I need your help, Father.
Of course, my dear.
You aren't going to like it. I need you to give me the ring.
Absolutely not.
The Imperials want it. They will come after you if you keep it.
Better that they pursue you instead.
Yes.
You have sworn to me that you will not sell your life for mine.
Father, listen to me. You don't have the strength to wield the ring. If they wish to take it from you, it will only be too easy.
I am not impotent
but
yet.
I can maintain the wall and still use the ring's full power. The only way they will take it from me is if I hand it to them myself. If we do the switch now, the Imperials will be none the wiser. I will attune to the wall and the crystal, and we can manage with barely a flicker.
This is too dangerous, Raina.
It is too dangerous not to, Father. If they take the ring from you, whether they kill you in the process or not, the wall will fall for good. And if the wall falls, insomnia falls. But I can protect the ring and myself. I can do this.
Very well. Let us go quickly.
I trailed behind Reyna and Regis as they made their way through the citadel to the innermost chamber. The door was openly guarded with a dozen Crown's guards flanking it, more than thrice the number usually stationed here. The guards stepped aside at first glimpse of the king and princess approaching.
Have you a plan?
I have a theory. It goes without saying that no one has the experience to say whether or not it will work.
Very well. Let us hear your theory.
You will have to dismantle the wall before you remove the ring. Then you will pass it to me. I will have a heart-to-heart with the kings of yore, which should take no more than a few seconds in the physical world, and finally reactivate the wall. Hopefully with very little delay between the two.
It shall take a great deal more energy to dismantle and reactivate the wall. Better that I should hold on to it for as long as possible without the ring.
No, the strain of trying to channel so much power without the ring in between would kill you.
You cannot know that.
And I don't intend to find out.
Very well. The wall will come down. Am I to understand that you have wielded the ring in your dream?
Yes.
Then you understand the price you must pay in return for its power. But I suspect you did not rebuild the wall at any time.
No, never.
Words cannot aptly describe the sensation of constant strain. Though I hope this is a highly temporary solution to our problems, and that you will never have to experience firsthand what it will do to you. I must caution you, do not underestimate the weight of the wall. You may well not be capable of the feats you have come to expect from the ring while you hold the wall.
Thank you, Father. I will keep that in mind.
You still wish to proceed?
Yes. I still believe this is the best course for us.
Very well, Reyna.
At first, nothing seemed to change. Regis stood, unmoving, his hand raised toward the crystal. Then, the mirrors shifted, spreading apart and opening to show a man-sized geode inside. It glowed with an unearthly light. The beam that rose up and shot through the ceiling pulsed and dimmed. It lit the whole room, so bright that I had to lift my hand to shield my eyes from the shining walls, and that was to say nothing about the blinding light from the crystal itself. Even when it faded, I was left blinking through the spots in my vision. I heard the clatter of Regis's cane on the floor and stepped forward before I could see anything at all. My hands connected with a cape-clad back, and Regis fell against me instead of forward. I braced him. We both remained upright long enough for me to get one of my arms around his shoulders. By that time, I could see again.
Quickly, my dear.
She reached out and slipped the ring from his finger and onto hers without pause. I had been prepared for something to happen when the wall came down. I had not been expecting anything to happen when she put the ring on. Fool. Blue light burst from Reyna in a tangible wave. But it wasn't just light. It was pressure, like the shock wave that followed an explosion, and it set Regis and I both off balance. I took a step back and braced my feet. Regis stumbled after me. In front of us, Reyna, face contorted in pain, stood half doubled over and clutching her hand. On the other side of the crystal, black mist swirled in a miniature imitation of a brewing storm. The gleaming stone floor seemed to blacken beneath it, so dark it looked as if the earth had been eaten away into a hole. And then a hand emerged, long, sinewy, and ending in talon-like claws. Demons. Demons in insomnia for the first time in centuries, and I was standing there with one arm taken up by Regis and my mobility reduced to 0.
Release me.
Can you stand on your own?
Doubtful. Do it anyway.
With one sideways glance, I ducked out from under his arm and reached with borrowed magic into the abyss between worlds to draw my blade. Regis stumbled, taking a shaking step before his leg gave out on him, and brought him to one knee. I kicked his cane toward him and advanced on the demon, which had clawed its way out of the darkness by now. A hulking beast, 3 feet taller than me, with arms nearly long enough to brush the floor, like some sick cross between a human and an orangutan. Regis! Before I could run it through, the demon reeled back, as if struck by something other than my katana. It convulsed, held in place as an orb of red light burst from its chest. The light leaped away to somewhere behind me, and the demon crumbled, then sublimated into black mist. What the hell? I turned, blade still bare in my hands, to follow the path the red light had taken. It led to Reyna. She stood with her hand outstretched, the ring of the Lucii on her finger, and a blue glow shimmering across her skin and eyes. The demons were gone.
You must rebuild the wall, Reyna, before this devolves further.
Cor, I need you to go to the guest wing. Find Arden and bring him to me as fast as you can.
The Imperial Chancellor? Absolutely not. I will not allow an Imperial near the crystal.
Of everything he is, the fact he is the Imperial Chancellor should be the least of your worries, Father. And I need him. Cor, go. Tell him the princess needs a favor.
I didn't wait to be told again. I went.
What? Who's there? My bedroom was dark. Couldn't even tell what time it was. Ignis was sitting in a chair in the corner with his jacket across his shoulders like a blanket. Prompto was wedged in the window seat with one leg hanging off the side and his head lolling. And Gladio was sleeping on the floor with his shirt balled up under his head for a pillow. Jeez, didn't they know there were spare rooms down the hall? Couldn't spare 30 seconds to get a real pillow? All right, I'm coming. Luna? What? How did you get up here?
Shh, let's not wake them. Reyna was kind enough to let me up.
Oh. Do you want to go sit down? There's empty rooms.
I would like that.
So I led the way down the hall to the first guest room and let her in. The servants always kept the spare rooms ready, even though no one ever slept in them. It had made them good places to hide when Reyna and I were trying not to be found, though. So, what are you doing up here? I mean, why did Ray let you up? Sorry.
Ravis brought me here without specifying why.
That's weird.
Noctis, I cannot believe that Niflheim has come for peace. Something here is not right.
Oh, yeah, we know that.
What do you mean?
Ray dreamed it. Dad was sending us to Altissia. I guess we were supposed to meet you there for the wedding. But Ray dragged us all back this morning. Said the Empire was going to kill Dad and take over Insomnia if we didn't get back.
I admit I was skeptical about this peace, but the idea that they would kill your father after entering the city on these pretenses?
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. The Nifs are snakes. Good thing Ray brought us back in time. We'll send them back where they belong.
Noctis, there is something you should know about your sister.
What?
You know that the Oracle speaks to the gods on behalf of mortals, and that Gentiana speaks to mortals on behalf of the gods.
Yeah?
Gentiana has recently given me distressing insights about Reyna. I was reluctant to believe, but after watching her dance with Chancellor Izunia...
What do you mean?
The Kalems were chosen by the gods to protect the crystal so that, when the time came, the Chosen King might fulfill the prophecy and repel the darkness forever. But there are those thralls of the darkness who would see the crystal destroyed and the gods removed permanently from the face of Eos. The man you know as the Imperial Chancellor is one of them. If Gentiana is to be believed, Reyna is another.
No way. She's not like that.
Noctis, I know it is difficult to see past the sister you love to what lies beneath, but please, you must try. Can you see nothing of the darkness in her?
She had been strange ever since she had awoken from that dream. Not really like Rey at all. She was more intense and focused, more self-assured. She had said no to Dad, and I had wondered, who are you and what have you done with my twin? Because Reyna would never refuse to do what Dad said. Never. No way.
You see?
She just had a really shitty nightmare. No way you wake up from a 10-year nightmare and come out the same person.
That may well be the reason, but the result is the same. Given the chance, Reyna will stand against the gods and not with them. She will destroy the crystal if she can.
I'm sorry, Luna. I just can't believe she would ever do that.
Noctis, I know it to be true that Chancellor Izunia is the source of the darkness. I do not believe that she danced with him tonight by chance.
Oh yeah? Well, what about Ravis? She danced with him too.
My brother is often misguided in his choice of companions. He tries to do his best and sometimes only makes matters worse.
Look, even if she was working with this guy, he's probably just tricked her or something. So there's gotta be a way to fix it.
If the prophecy is fulfilled, all in thrall to the darkness shall know peace.
In spite of my best intentions, no sooner had I sat down than my eyes were shut, and all plans to remain alert drained away in the face of an exceedingly long day. When I woke, it was with that disorienting loss of time that comes from rising in the middle of the night with no clear sense of what hour it was or how long I had been asleep. And, before I could even curse myself for lapse of self-control, my eyes landed on Noctis's empty bed. Gladio, pronto, wake up!
What's up?
Noctis is gone. Something else was wrong as well. A general sensation of impending doom brewed in the pit of my stomach. The night was too dark, and then I saw it, or didn't see it, as the case was, and the wall is gone.
It's what?
Holy hell.
Let's go. We need to find Noct. The halls are unlit, but less still than they ought to have been. Once my eyes adjusted to the scant city light filtering in through the windows, I could see the black mist that swirled in places, forming columns of air that was too black for night.
The hell is that?
I don't know, but I suspect it has something to do with the reason why Outlanders don't venture beyond the light at night. Be on your guard.
Right.
Noctis!
Where would he go?
Let's search up here first. Come on.
I fell into step behind him. Whenever possible, we gave the swirling black mist a wide berth. None of us were eager to discover what it was, but that came on its own regardless of our intent or hope. The third foggy column we passed was darker than the others, somehow so dense that it seemed to blacken the black marble tile beneath it until it mirrored the colorless sky overhead, and I felt certain I could have plunged my hand straight through the ground. Something else reached out first.
What is that?
Small fingers grasped the edge of the black pool, and a creature pulled itself out of the solid ground. It was smaller than a man, but vaguely humanoid, like a sick artist had taken a child and twisted it beyond recognition. Its ears were elongated and pointed, more horn than appendage, and its sunken face was taken up predominantly by eyes too big for its skull and red all the way around, with neither white nor iris nor pupil. The tattered remains of what might once have been a dress hung from a body so emaciated it was little more than a skeleton with grey, lifeless skin stretched over it. Damon!
Time to move.
Oh, hi there, opening.
Knocked!
Specs! What the hell is going on?
Knocked. You alright?
Yeah, fine. Where are Ray and Dad?
We passed His Majesty's door and saw no signs of life. Her Highness is likewise.
She never sleeps in there. We gotta find my dad.
Noctis, the wall is gone.
We gotta find him.
Reyna stretched out her hand toward the crystal, and her skin lit violet in the light. She tangled her fingers in the heart of the geo and called forth more and more brilliant light, until the whole room was ablaze with it. And still it wasn't enough to rebuild the wall. It built to blinding radiance, reflecting off the floor and walls, until the only thing I could see was her, silhouetted against the heart of the star. And she cried out in pain as all that power coursed through her, swelling until there was nowhere left to go. Still, it was not enough. Reyna! Swear to me you will not let the wall take your life as it has taken mine. Swear it!
Father, I swear I will not give my life to the Astrals, nor Noctis's life. This is for Insomnia, for Noctis, for Ignis, for Iris and Core.
She turned back toward the crystal, and I felt her seize the power as it poured through her.
For Claris!
She gathered up the brimming well of magic within the room and spun it into a rope, more rapidly, more deftly than I ever could have done.
For you!
A beam of violet light burst from the crystal and lit the sky. Overhead, the wall was reforming, 1,000 feet above the city. Once the magic was free from the chamber, the light within dimmed to its natural level. Even that seemed dark in comparison. Reyna sagged further forward with each passing second. One hand still against the crystal, I tightened my hold on her. By the time the wall connected with the outer foundations and Reyna's hand slipped from the crystal, I was supporting her full weight. Not, if I had thought about it, the best position to be in.
Father.
I have you, my dear. I have you.
Father!
She seemed to catch her bearings all at once. Perhaps she had noticed I was holding her and not my cane. She put her feet down and straightened her knees so that I was only trying to hold myself up with a leg and a half. Also, not an ideal situation, but an improvement to the previous one. She tucked under my arm and braced me until I found my balance again. Thank you, my dear. Are you all right? You carry the weight of the wall.
Yes.
How do you find it?
Heavy. And you? How does it feel to be free of it at last?
Do you recall all those nights when you spent far too many hours on training and arrived at dinner to find even your spoon was too heavy to lift?
You weren't supposed to know I was spending so much time in training.
You are much too smart to believe that I don't know precisely what goes on in your life. It feels much the same as that.
Well then, you'll have exceptionally big muscles tomorrow.
More likely I shall feel exceptionally sore.
In a few days, then.
The Crystal Chamber wasn't the only place in the Citadel that was crawling with demons. Outside, the Crown's guards had their weapons at the ready and their backs to the wall.
Marshal, there are demons!
I know. Stay here and guard the crystal. I rounded the curve without waiting to hear the scattered response, keeping my sword sheathed at my side and my hand on the hilt. Along the way, I passed more columns of that same black mist. More than once, I thought I heard the chittering of demons echoing through the halls. 2 Crown's guards stood on either side of the doorway leading to the guest wing. Both held their weapons at the ready and jumped when I rounded the corner.
Marshal Leonis, thank the Astrals.
Which is the Chancellor's room?
Third on the right, Marshal. But what about the demons, Marshal?
Hold your ground! Beyond, the hall was dimly lit, but so far as I could see, no demons were stirring. Though no light showed under the Chancellor's door, when I knocked, the door opened almost immediately to Arden Izunia, fully dressed as if he'd been preparing to go out. At 4 a.m. Nothing suspicious to see here.
Well, well, well. If it isn't the princess's faithful lapdog. And right when the crown city is dissolving into chaos. Or is Lion? Lap Lion doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
I have been sent to escort you to Her Highness.
Is that so? Well, I suppose I must leave when Her Highness calls.
She said to tell you that she needs a favor.
How very interesting. Lead on, Napcat. No, the nuance is all wrong. Cats are independent and aloof. They only curl up in your lap when they want something from you, not vice versa. Lap cub? Oh, no. Cub implies you have a certain level of naivete or inexperience, and you have neither of those, do you? Immortal. But you are aloof and independent, aren't you? My, but she must hold your leash quite tightly.
15 minutes of inane monologue later, we reached the center of the Citadel. Our luck held. No demons crossed our path. The Crown's guards were still standing outside the Crystal Chamber, no worse for the wear, though they looked askance at my companion. I pushed the doors open and passed through the control room to the Crystal Chamber. The Chancellor kept at my heel. Inside, Reyna and Regis were both standing before the crystal. The familiar glow, the violet beam of light that pulsed from the center of the Citadel, was back. The wall was in place once more.
Princess, what a delight. I've just been having the most titillating conversation with your lap cat.
Lap cat? How apt. Thank you for coming, Arden. I need your help.
Yes, so you've mentioned. But what is it you ask of me?
I need your magic.
You already have my magic, little dreamer.
No, I have Noctis's. A story for another time. I need yours. You know what I speak of. There is only one you have that we don't.
Am I to understand that you are asking me for control of the Star Scourge?
Yes. I want the link that will grant me hold on the demons.
You don't get something for nothing, little dreamer. What will you give me for it?
She grabbed the front of his shirt and pulled him even closer so she could whisper in his ear. After a moment, Izunia pulled away. and stared at her. Then he threw back his head and laughed.
Oh, little dreamer, you do know how to tempt a man.
He held out his hand to her. I fought the urge to knock his hand away and prevent her from touching him. I won out over the impulse, barely. Reyna put her hand in the Chancellor's. Red strands of light and power leapt from him and tied their hands together, twisting up her arm and tangling inside her. Behind her, Regis took a step forward, then stopped abruptly. Reyna hardly seemed to notice any of that. She was staring only at the Chancellor, and him at her, enraptured.
No light showed beneath His Majesty's door. When Noctis pounded, no response came, not even the sound of motion.
Dad? Ray?
Hey, don't go charging in first. I'm in front.
Dad? Ray?
Noct, it may be necessary to get out of Insomnia. If the Imperials...
No way. I'm not just leaving them. Whatever's happening, we can still help.
Don't be an idiot. Look, I don't want to be the first one to say it, but we're all thinking it.
Don't.
His Majesty is probably dead.
Don't fucking say that!
The wall is gone, Noct. He wouldn't just drop it.
He might if he had to.
Oh yeah? Like for what?
I don't know, but I'm going to find out, and you can come or not.
Noctis, your sister is absent as well.
Nuh-uh. No way. No fucking way she did this.
I only mention the possibility. I know that she is your sister, but her loyalties do not lie with us.
Preposterous. Where else would they lie?
With the man whom she danced with tonight. With a man so twisted by hate that he has become the embodiment of all that is wrong in our world. Audiodrama.
Look, I know you're trying to help, but there's no way I can believe what you're saying. Definitely not without talking to Ray. So we're going to find her. Not! Iggy, look!
Light burst from the heart of the citadel. Before our eyes, a violent beam shot towards the sky and split in a million directions. Overhead, light stretched and expanded, growing into interconnecting disks of magic, which formed the beginnings of a new barrier, a new wall.
See? I told you, he's alive! Now let's go!
King Regis would need to be near to the crystal to cause such magic. We should make our way there.
I'd expected more demons crawling around in the citadel than this. Small blessings. Then again, my expectation was based on a sum total of 0 prior experience with demons. So, there was that too. The crystal chamber, when we finally reached it, was guarded by a bunch of Crown's Guard. Way more than normal. I'm looking for my dad. Is he inside?
Yes, Your Highness, along with Princess Reyna, Marshal Leonis, and... one of the Imperials.
So, there was an Imperial inside? Why were they all standing out here then? Whatever. I'd been inside the crystal chamber once before. It was just as big as I remembered, just as bright, and honestly, still a little bit creepy. Dad was inside Angkor. Rain was facing that creepy burgundy-haired guy. What the hell was even happening? They had hands clasped as magic jumped between them like electricity over metal. At least, I thought it was magic. That was what it usually looked like when I tied lines with Reyna, more or less, except this magic was red, not blue.
Noctis, you are safe. Good.
What the hell is going on?
A great many things.
Ray, please, tell me something.
Noctis, I swear. I will explain everything that I can once everyone is safe. But right now there are demons running through Insomnia, and if I do not stop them, people will die.
Right.
Come if you want.
When the little dreamer left, I followed first while everyone else was still sitting on their thumbs and looking a bit lost. I caught up with her easily. Her legs were ever so tiny, and fell into step beside her. You don't mind if I tag along, do you?
I doubt I could stop you if I wanted to.
Do you know, little dreamer, you're beginning to intrigue me.
Only beginning? How disappointing. And here I thought I had you thoroughly snared.
I think I'd like to get to know you better.
You liked me a great deal.
How much? And she smiled. She looked me dead in the eye and positively smirked. And that was the only answer she gave. Curiouser and curiouser. The rest of our little parade came along eventually, but it took stopping on the Citadel steps for Daddy Dearest to catch up at his hobbling pace. Someone give the man a wheelchair. Am I the only person with any empathy anymore? Outside, the beginnings of her work were visible. Dark figures crept and crawled and clawed their way down the street to converge on her. Inside, the demons were doing much the same. They skittered down the walls and through every open door, and gathered in the entry hall before lurching toward her. The siren call of the demon princess.
Why are they all coming here?
Because I called them. They won't harm you. I control them.
Beware the poisoned chalice, Your Highness.
Oh, but of course. What would you do if I took them from you? I could do it, you know. Right now, while everyone's in one place. It would be a massacre.
You could, but you won't. Because then you wouldn't get to see my next trick.
It was infuriating how right she was. I forgave her because the tricks she had pulled out of her sleeves thus far had been worth it. This one was, too. She stretched out her hand. She seized the demons in the street with my magic, and she pulled. She dragged at them until every strand to every demon snapped and broke, cutting lifeless bodies from the power that animated them. The demons wasted away, just so much miasma, and the power flooded into her. And here I hadn't even known that a human could absorb a demon. In fact, I stepped in front of her, just enough to see her face. I had to see, had to know, because it shouldn't have been possible. And it wasn't. She absorbed the power from the demons. That was the star scourge she was pulling inside herself. And sure enough, the scourge took root, spreading and tainting until her veins ran black beneath fair skin, and the excess dripped from her eyes like inky tears, and ran down her face. When she was through, when not a single demon moved within the city, she took all of that scourge and coiled it up in her core, where it sat humming and waiting to be used. Her power, her plaything. You really do mean to sacrifice everything for them, don't you?
Anything necessary.
Oh, you are a treasure, little dreamer. I'll be looking forward to your next surprise. Good night.
It is not too late to turn from this path, Princess Reina. To protect the crystal is the duty of the line of Lucis. Would you really forsake your destiny so thoughtlessly?
Thoughtlessly? No, Lady Lunafreya. I have spent a great deal of time thinking on it.
When first Gentiana revealed your heart to me, I believed, as Noctis does, that there must have been some mistake. Though we had not met for 12 years, I felt certain that what I knew of you must hold true. Now I see my trust was misplaced. In truth, I pity you. You are very much like him, aren't you? Perhaps you have done these things in the name of protecting your people, but in the end the result will be the same. You have taken the darkness into yourself. Even now I can feel it clutching at your soul. It will take you over, Princess Reina, just as it did to him. You cannot consume the Star Scourge and expect to remain its master.
Again, you are mistaken, on several levels. I haven't the time to fix that, but in short order. It has been 22 years since we last met. Your trust is still misplaced, but not in me. I am as alike him as I am unlike him, but it's true that I have come to resemble Arden. 5 years with no other company will do that to a person. I have done this to protect my family and friends, not the people of Lucis. The Star Scourge is darkness, not evil. The two are not synonymous, and I would have thought the Princess of Tenebrae had made that distinction by now. What consumed him was not evil, but hatred. Hatred for your astrals, his brother, and every person who betrayed and abandoned him. If but one person had extended a hand to him, his soul might have been saved.
Ray, Luna said you want the astrals and the crystals destroyed?
She's right.
Then you stand against us.
You. Only if you stand in my way.
Why? Why do you want them dead?
Because everything that is wrong in this world has been caused by them.
But
when Insomnia is safe, I will answer every question you have. Until then, I must continue to ask you to trust me, Noct. Know only that my priorities are the lives and well-being of you and Father. All else stems from those.
Right. I could do it. I could trust her without knowing why. It would have been harder not to.
Any good soldier knows how to push the boundaries of wakefulness and work without sleep, and I was nothing if not a good soldier. Dawn came. Every Crownsguard was in position. The main bulk was inside the Citadel and out of sight, some incognito, but a portion remained outside with the civilians for crowd control. Reina was confident that the rebel group associated with the Imperials had been rooted out, but she favored contingency. Better safe than sorry. I had expected her to struggle more on short sleep. Sure, the diplomats and politicians had their share of long nights, but it was a far cry from this. She'd hardly slept in 2 days. Then again, she was hardly a pampered princess anymore, was she? She was a ruler, a commander, and a battle-hardened veteran. She was my charge, and my queen. Reina, and by extension I, was to attend the signing, along with Noctis and his retinue. She took time in the morning for diplomatic niceties with the Imperial attaché. All the posturing made my teeth hurt, but I went along and held my tongue. We learned 2 things. The first was that the night's misadventures seemed to have gone unnoticed by our guests. What demons had made it through while the wall was down had not made it into any of their rooms before Reina had taken charge. I couldn't help but wonder if that was related to the Imperial Chancellor. Second, we witnessed up close the Imperial's reaction to the ring on her finger. Somehow she made it obvious that she was wearing it without appearing to flaunt it. The High Commander openly stared, the Emperor's eyes bugged, and his chief attendant spilled coffee down his white robes.
Give them something to pass the time discussing.
And it did. Even before the door shut behind us, the Nifs had gathered in hushed conference. The hours drew on. At Reina's command, a ravine 20 miles south of Insomnia was surveyed. The Kingsglaives discovered an Imperial fleet waiting, prepared for the impending invasion. She ordered only that they be watched. Everything that could be prearranged without giving away our position had been. Tension in the throne room was tangible. Regis stood at the window, holding his cane in a white-knuckled grip. Reyna paced. Noctis sat on the steps and tapped a rhythmic pattern on the side of his boot. Sitting idle was torture. I caught Reyna by the shoulder and leaned close enough to drop my voice and still be heard. I'm going to check in on the traitors.
Go.
In the basement, I rounded the corner, past the interrogation room where Reyna had first confronted Dratos, and struck out toward the cells farther down. Blood streaked the floor from where I had half-dragged Dratos, and a faint sulfur smell blended with copper in the stale air. The light at the end of the hall flickered on and off. While it was on, I could see the debris piled in the walkway. Chunks of masonry and a metal door 6 inches thick, blown off its hinges. Shit! Dratos' cell, marked with a puddle of dried blood and red-brown handprints on the wall, was empty. The adjacent cells were as well. The locks were blasted off, and the doors hung free on their hinges and creaked when I pushed them open. I sprinted for the throne room. Never mind subtlety. The Imperials knew at least half of our plan, and now they had more Imperial traitors in the city. I skidded around the marble pillars as I turned the corner toward the throne room. The doors were in sight now. Too many attendants rushed to open them for me. I shoved through the gap before they managed. Your Highness! The glaives are gone!
Clarice, how long until the ceremony?
Less than an hour, Your Highness.
The greater threat is to the crystal. They know I bear the ring. Without further knowledge, they must also make the assumption that I wield the full power, which makes it a more difficult target. So, the crystal is our weak point. Noctis, I need you and your friends outside the crystal chamber.
Right. Now?
Immediately.
And you, my dear?
I will stay at your side.
With the ring on your hand, the dangers to me are minimal. The Crown's guards stationed around and within the treaty chamber shall be more than sufficient. But if Niflheim throws their full weight behind an attack on the crystal, including General Glauca, I dare say those glaives and Noctis together will struggle to hold him back.
And if he should come to the treaty room instead?
Then he shall be sorely disappointed to find the trip was for naught. Reyna, the crystal must be your priority. You know this. If they break through, the wall falls. If the wall falls, so too does Insomnia.
And if you die...
Then Insomnia and all the rest may still be salvaged. Thanks to you. Go, my dear. I will be fine. My strength is greater without the weight of the wall.
You had better be.
And against everything I thought I had known about her, she turned around and walked away, putting the safety of Insomnia before that of Regis.
I'm going to tear Dratos' heart from his chest and force it down his throat.
For 1 minute, I had thought I had witnessed the impossible. Reyna choosing to protect the kingdom over her father. But I hadn't. I had only seen how far revenge would drive her.
Outside the reinforced doors to the crystal antechamber, we met with a small army of Crown's guards and all that remained of the Kingsglaive, some few dozen. It appeared excessive, but Reyna knew what she was doing. If so many were assigned to guard the crystal, the threat was far greater than I had imagined. Not long after that, Marshal Leonis and Princess Reyna joined us. It appeared that plans had changed further even after we had departed. But if Reyna was here, rather than at the signing, then she must have expected a massive force of Imperials coming for the crystal.
It is likely that the traitor glaives will attack us. If any of you have qualms against killing your former comrades, speak now. But know that before I intervened, they killed every last one of you, save Ulrich and Ostium.
Permission to speak freely, Your Highness.
Granted, Captain Ulrich.
Not a man or woman here isn't ready to pay back tenfold what they did to Crow. With steel or fire, We're with you.
For hearth and home!
It wasn't much longer that we waited after that.
Slaves! Take them down! Crown guards, hold your position! Crown guards, fire at will!
Your Highness, lookout reports the Imperial fleet is nearly overhead.
Noted, Captain. Where is he? If Drautus was going after the crystal, he would be here by now. I'm going.
Your Highness, if he comes here...
Then you and the glaive will hold him off until I return. Ulrich, I need a shield in front of the Crown's guards. Protect the crystal with your life.
Affirmative, Princess.
Core.
I belong at your side, Your Highness.
You will only slow me down, and I need you here in case he comes.
She didn't give me the chance to argue further. She warped down the hall through a hail of gunfire, past the clash of glaives, and out of sight.
Marshal! General Gurkha is in the treaty room! Repeat, he is in the treaty room!
Everything proceeded by the book, remarkably enough, though the Emperor's countenance suggested he had expected something to occur by then. We were left standing before the treaty that neither of us had any intention of signing. An awkward pause stretched before us. In the silence of the room, we both studied the carefully worded pages set on the table and waited. Aldecap's hands twitched towards his gunbelt. All it took was one little twist of pressure, and the whole thing snapped. Clarus drew steel first.
They have attacked the crystal chamber.
And nearly before the words were out of his mouth, everyone else in the room had weapons drawn and at the ready. You're too late, Idolus. Your men will never break through the army that stands between them and the crystal. Stand down, and let us avoid this bloodshed.
You show your hand too early, King Regis. We have resources yet.
I threw another handful of lightning, thrusting Aldecap across the room with weight behind it. The Emperor crashed into the far wall and fell to the ground. For the first time in years, I reached for my blade and found it waiting, just on the other side of reality. It jumped at my core with a flash of blue. The Crown's Guard had flooded the room. A spray of Imperial bullets scattered in my direction. The only barrier I had held in 15 years was the wall. I had no time to remember how it was done. I threw out my hand, and the magic leapt around me, coalescing into a solid hemisphere of magic. The bullets cracked harmlessly against the outside. What caught my eye, however, was not the Crown's Guard, who fell in defense of king and country, nor the Imperials who struck them down. It was, rather, the Imperials who did not. The Chancellor stood in the center of the commotion, unconcerned with the whole ordeal, save as a spectacle for his entertainment. After last night, I had no idea what to make of the man. Never had I expected aid from a snake like Arden Izunia, but I was beginning to understand that there was more to this man than met the eye. Stranger still, however, was the Imperial High Commander. Ravus Nox Fleury put his back against the far wall, letting his countrymen shield him from return fire, but he himself loosed no bullets, and only held his sword at his side in a defensive stance. Both men had danced with Reyna the night before. It made very little difference when the window overhead shattered, and the armored form of General Glorka landed behind me with a crash loud enough to pierce the din of battle. So he was not with the others at the crystal after all.
Regis!
Call the retreat, Clarus. Drautus. How unfortunate that my daughter showed you mercy when she might have ended your life.
Mercy? You are more of a fool than I thought, to know your own daughter so little.
The mask of his Magitech armor melted back. as if made of liquid that could reform at will. Beneath was Drautus's face, or some semblance of it. Half the skin was red and blistered, burned as if from a fire. What little had been spared was bruised and broken, split and bloodied.
Death would have been a mercy if she truly meant to repeat this treatment every day for 10 years. Count it a blessing that she only managed one. Now, I only have one to pay back.
You have come to the wrong place, then. My daughter is well away from here.
I did not say I meant to pay it back to her.
Before I had a moment to register what he had said, Drautus lunged. I called the armiger for the first time in 12 years, and a dozen blades cut through the physical realm, catching Drautus's sword and holding, even as he strained against them. The strength it took to hold him in place was more mental than physical, but it dragged at my body as well as my mind. My strength would give before Drautus's did. A blade swung from behind Drautus, dragging over the metal of his armor and throwing sparks. Drautus shoved the armiger away, forcing me back a step, and turned to grab Clarice by the front of his robes.
Clarice!
Drautus hurled him across the room. He struck the wall with a groan, but I had no time to check if he was still alive. Drautus rounded on me before Clarice hit the ground. This time, I cast a hasty barrier, and Drautus's blade struck the outside. Never had I been so sharply aware of the finite power of my shields as I was now. He lifted his sword once more and brought it crashing down on my barrier. The shield shattered beneath his blade. I retreated, but not quickly enough. I was still within range when Drautus seized my arm and pulled me off balance. My cane clattered to the floor, my knee buckled under the weight, but Drautus kept a vice grip on my arm.
Father!
Forgive me, my dear.
Little princess, you're just in time.
If you kill him again, I will never let you die. I will feed you Starscourge and corruption, and your 10 years of suffering will stretch for an eternity, and you will never know peace. You cannot beat me. I can crush you with one hand, and as soon as your shield is gone, I will.
Then I will make you a deal, princess. The ring for your father's life.
Reyna, no! Lucius needs you!
Choose wisely, princess.
She released her naginata.
I'm sorry, Father.
And she removed the ring from her finger.
I should never have let her leave on her own. Whatever she said, whatever her plans, however powerful she may have been, it was always better to have backup. And if Drautos was in the treaty room, then he wasn't coming after the crystal. The Glaives had this situation under control. I ducked out of line, taking what cover I could behind the friendly Glaives, and cutting through any who stood in my way. I sprinted through the citadel, only slowing when I drew near the treaty room. The doors were thrown open. Beyond, crushed chairs and shattered glass littered the floor. Crown's guards poured out, dragging allies and enemies alike. I skidded to a halt outside, just in time to watch Reyna pull the ring from her finger. Overhead, the wall crumbled. It fell inward in pieces like a shattered window, a glittering shower of prismatic light falling across the entire city, except the magic evaporated before it hit the ground. Reyna held the ring up. Drautos shifted his hold on Regis, keeping the blade to his throat, but preparing to shove him aside as soon as Reyna released the ring. She threw it. The chime of metal against stone echoed in the suddenly quiet room. Dratos shoved Regis in the opposite direction. She could have gone for the ring again, but she wouldn't. I knew even before she warped across the room to catch Regis. Dratos didn't move for the ring either. He lifted his blade as soon as Reyna had her hands full, keeping Regis upright.
Your Highness!
No time to think. I surged forward, sword bare in my hands, and brought it up overhead as I reached them. Dratos' blade came down. By the gods, he was strong. Stronger than any man had a right to be. He bore down on me until every muscle in my body was screaming protests. But I would not give in. I could not. All at once, the pressure from above released. An armored fist struck me from the side, throwing me across the room and into the wall. Bones cracked in my chest. My lungs refused to expand, and my vision turned bright with blinking lights. Through the haze of pain, before I slumped fully to the floor, I caught sight of Reyna standing her ground between Dratos and Regis. As Dratos lifted my own sword with a reverse grip, preparing to launch it across the room at me.
Kor!
Dratos released the sword. Lightning flashed. My katana struck the wall and clattered to the ground, smoking. Regis was still leaning on Reyna's shoulder, standing behind her. Both of them held out one hand, stretched palm out, and crackling with magic.
Kor! We need the Emperor taken alive!
Where is he?
Fled.
Find him, Kor! That's an order, Leonis!
Shit!
She was right. I needed to go. I gritted my teeth and grudgingly turned to jog out of the room, picking up as many of the remaining Crown's guards on my way as I could. I could only hope that Regis tempered Reyna enough to save her.
Let me go, my dear. You cannot win this fight and support me at the same time. Let me go, Reyna. I am capable of defending myself if he does not turn his full attention toward me. Reluctantly, while Dratos struggled to shatter her barrier, Reyna released her hold on me and turned her full attention to the battle at hand. Dratos had yet to retrieve the ring. Whatever his motivations had been, he now seemed to prioritize retribution above all else. The ring of the Lucii lay where Reyna had thrown it, across the room, black metal stark against the white marble floor. If I could reach it. Someone else had the same idea. He stooped and plucked the ring of the Lucii from the floor while I was still half a room away.
The ring of the Lucii.
Reyna!
So much strife over such a trifle. If any could wear it and gain unfathomable power, why would we follow a pampered brat?
This isn't how it happens, Ravus. You lose your arm, and only that because they are merciful.
Ravus looked to her, face unreadable but intense. She held out her hand, palm up, as if expecting him to pass over the ring. Dratos leapt. The ring flew, forming a neat arc in the opposite direction. Dratos shifted mid-flight, or he tried to, and missed Ravus, Reyna, and the ring entirely. Reyna caught it deftly and, in one fluid motion, put it back on her finger.
Ravus, get my father out of here. Take him someplace safe and keep him that way.
If I must.
Know this, Ravus. I could not care less about your sister. If he dies, I will kill her myself.
I believe you would. Come, old man.
Reyna, do not do this on your own.
Go, father. I will be fine.
But she did not see the swirl of black mist in the corner as the dark tile darkened further and the air became practically opaque. Perhaps she could take care of herself, but Dratos and demons. Raina! What stepped out of the fog was worse than demons. It was Arden Isunia.
Come now, or I will drag you myself. For my sister's sake, you will do as Raina has asked.
Ah, little dreamer. Enjoying your prey?
Don't interfere.
I would never stand between a Kylum and sweet vengeance. I can't believe you were actually going to sign this treaty. Willingly give up all your lands to Niflheim and just hope we honor the agreement and don't storm your gates as soon as the wall comes down? You must have been desperate.
I wasn't going to sign anything.
When I say you, I mean in the general sense. You Lucians. Admittedly, the language is ambiguous, so I can't blame you for misunderstanding. There really should be a plural form of...
Arden?
Yes, little dreamer?
Shut up.
Enough!
It will never be enough.
That was when he turned and bounded out through the same window he had crashed in the first place. Like a hare fleeing a wolf. Apt. The little dreamer lifted her glaive and prepared to chase the rabbit.
Coward.
Didn't your mother ever teach you not to play with your food?
Mother died when I was 3 months old. Likely the reason I can't feel love and have more daddy issues than I can count.
That was a little joke, wasn't it? Oh, you are right, little dreamer. I do like you a great deal.
I do not need an escort, Ravis.
Ravis? Ravis? I'ma try both. This is another episode of Cat not knowing how the heck to pronounce names.
I do not need an
export? Yes.
It's so bad today.
Don't play Animal Crossing while you're recording. You'll get distracted by a balloon. Oh my god!
I admit I was skeptical about this piece, but the idea that they would kill your father after entering the city on these
Well, then get permission. Well, then get permission. Permission. I forgot the British English. Well, then get permission. I mean, seriously, don't you even know who I am? Were you raised in a barn? Do you have Twitter? I consented to escort here. I consented to escort her here and have... No! My sister is insisting on seeing her betrothed. I will not send her up there on her own. Dude, chill, it's just a bedroom. I will not send her up there on her own. That was pretty good. Fine. As long as you give me your Wi-Fi password. The ring of the Lucii. My precious. Mi preciosa. One ring to rule them all. One ring to find them. One ring to bring them all, and in the darkness bind them. I'm sorry, I just gotta do it. I mean, it's a ring. What can you do? If any could wear it and gain unfathomable power. If any could wear it and gain unfathomable power, unfathomable. If any could wear it and gain unfathomable power, why would we follow a pampered brat? Damn, that was going so good. Come, old man. Hey, I got a line with Daddy Regis, finally. You know what? Saying come, old man, in your bedroom several times, it can be pretty ambiguous. Come now, or I will drag you myself. For my sister's sake, you will do as Raina has asked? What's going on here?
No one is allowed admittance to the royal family's quarters without express permission. No, not even you. No, not even you.
If you'll excuse me a moment, I have to see who's on the phone. Hello, I have returned. It seems that someone was trying to break into my house. That would have been a very ill-advised thing. Let us continue. Moving on to scene 9. Stopping recording here. And that is the end of my lines. Didn't have much to do this time, but rather than hear me act, you got to hear Ignis asthma. I think it's how it's called. Asthma. I believe that's also a condition of breathing. It's rather confusing. People enjoy asthma, but they don't enjoy having asthma. This warrants further research. ASMR and ASTHMA. They sound the same, but they're not the same. Puzzling.
Niflheim did not consent, nor was it a whim. They did mean to use her as bait. Did not mean to use her as bait. She was good bait for Leviathan there, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Was that too much? Is she too dead? But she's not, we're gonna save her. I'm allowed to be mean because I'm trying to save her. I'm not, that's mean, I'm sorry. Because he values her safety. And because Niflheim isn't the only one who can wield a double-edged blade. Oh god, there's a spider! Jesus Christ, that's a big one. Oh no. Come on, man, why you gotta do this? I'm not even scared of spiders, you just made me jump. Bruh. Bruh, you need to leave. You need to leave. You don't want spoilers for Final Fantasy 15. You need to go. Crying out in pain? Heck yeah, let's do it. My favorite time is reliving past pain and channeling it through my soul and out of my mouth for other people's entertainment. This is the life. This is the dream. I'm genuinely excited. Let's go. Yay! No, I'm kidding. Okay. Sorry. Gotta remember that time. And you had an operation on your toe. And it really hurt. And it felt like there was a burning light inside my toe. Is that good? It really hurt. Whew, that's fun. That's very cathartic. I can highly recommend that. Whew. Don't you remember that time? And there was that one guy and he was really cute. And then that toe that you had the operation on, you were wearing flip-flops. And you stubbed it into a metal rail. It sucked. There's blood everywhere. I'm having a riot. And do you remember that one time? And the goose bit your finger. And you were only 3. And then my granddad kicked it to make me feel better. It's animal cruelty. Don't do that, kids. It's not nice. I will not give my life to the Astrals. Nor Noctis's life. This is for Insomnia. For Ignis. Wait, for Noctis. Shit. My priorities have been shown. Whoops. Shit. Man, Raina's really getting her ass kicked by crystals and rings today, huh? Oh, let's go, more pain. How to worry your parents by voice acting at night. It is likely that the traitor glaives will attack us. If you have any of you have qualms, have you? Have you? Have you qualms? Why are you laughing? What do you mean I did not stumble on my words? Peasant. I am Raina. Lucis Calum. I only almost barely said Nox Flore. Everything is wrong. Ulrich, I need a shield on the front of the Crown's Guards. Wait, no, scratch that. That's not the line. Father! Whoa. A little bit loud. Noted. Let's turn the next one down. If you kill him again, I will never let you die. I will feed you Star Scourge and corruption, and you fuck. Oh, I just got too angry. I stopped looking at the lines because I'm crying. Bruh, the feels. Ooh, man. I need ice cream and hugs right now. That was super fun though. I guess that's the punishment I get for being allowed to torture someone in the first episode. It's like, now it's you who will feel the pain. No! Don't! I don't want to feel it. But I do because it's fun. Hell yeah. Let's go next episode!
Good evening. Just getting my bearings. Kingly. I'm a king. Beard. Have a beard. And now, That was a line. I'm starting the lines now. I'm not impotent yet. I can still get boners. The cowboy? Absolutely not. I will not have him yee-hawing around the crystal. Let me just get back into character. Beard. Big beard. Am I in this one? Go away. Am I in this? Shut up. Do I get my fingers cut off in this one? Bloody hell. Those were Raina's favourite fingers. More narrating. My tongue's getting exercise tonight. I have to apologise to Raina, it's so tired. Oh, I'm in this next scene. Oh, goody. But that's for the next recording. I've been practicing, you see. I've got such a sexy voice right now. I could read erotica in this voice. Oh, yes. Darren DePaul would be oh so proud. Oh, hi. You're still here. Yes, I'm still here. Well, this is awkward. How was your day? Just get out. I'm in this scene. Yes, but we're cutting it short tonight because this is almost 25 minutes long. Oh, no. No. You're such a bore. Start my scene next. No. But she did not see the swirl of black mist in the corner as the dark What word is that? Oh, tile. I can't read tile. I'm an old man. I need my glasses. What stepped out of the fog was worse than demons. It was that cowboy. Howdy, y'all. What's going on? Oh, no. I clicked something. I shouldn't have clicked it. We interrupt this programming to bring you Arden losing his shit. Boring, 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 not me. Oh, there's you. Hang on. Oh, fuck me. Oh, but at the same time, why must there be people? People are the worst. Oh, good. When she was through, not a single demons? What's the proper plural form for demons? Are you sure? Well, you're the author. Beware the poisoned chalice, your highness. Oh, that's Luna's line. Hee hee. Sorry. Howdy, little dreamer. Enjoying your prey? Good God, that was terrible. Oh, that's Raina laughing. Never mind. I can laugh too. Oh, no, I forgot to do my theme song when I came in. Hang on. Or is it the more dramatic one with the organs playing? It's probably going to be that one. I love that one. It's so dramatic. I sound like a sassy gay man. What was that? That wasn't my laugh. No, that wasn't it either. Sorry, you're probably going to get 5 minutes of me crazy laughing in all different ways, just so we can get a good one. Oh, the things I do for drama. That was perfect. Okay, no more 5-minute laughing. That sounds exhausting. Now where's Regis's lines? Let us see. Do my fingers get cut off this time? Those were Raina's favorite fingers. It's okay, Raina. You still have my fingers. All 10 of them. That was when she turned and bounded out through the same window. Who did that? What? Oh, he. Language is so ambiguous. Apt? What is apt? Is that a word? Oh, it's not an abbreviation. It's an actual word. I knew that. I didn't just look that up. I guess it's just me standing in the room then. Me alone with 24 corpses. Hi, Clarice. Are you still alive? Why am I still here? Why was I here to begin with? Was I... Oh my God. I was just exposition. I was just here for the narrating. What is my life? This must be the same dilemma that Don Quixote faces. Here I am, rambling, in a throne room, surrounded by dead people. Old dead people. They smelled before they hit the floor. Oh, ghastly. I really should leave before this recording gets too long. Tulu? Are you sure you're all dead? Oh, this is such a drag.